Hey, what's going on, people? How you doing? Listen, we are broadcasting live on two different formats. This is the film review. We are broadcasting live on two different formats. We are on Facebook Live and on Instagram Live, so you can see us both ways, right? So we are the film review. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And we review culture in movies, music, politics, and society because we're the film review. Movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. All right, people. So this is a special one because this is the conclusion to a piece. You know, I started out believing it was a hit job, but they really brought it home in the last episode. Slide in some more so we can see you because you know you're the star of the show.
No.
So let's say this first, people. Listen, this is the film review. Like we said, you can go right over to SoundCloud and you can purchase the film review T-shirts. The film review T-shirts are right there on SoundCloud. You can see them in all the different episodes that we do. You'll see a button that says buy the film review T-shirt. You click there, it takes it right to the page. You can order the film review T-shirt and help us continue to bring you these podcasts where we review culture and movies, music, politics, and society.
R. Kelly.
Yeah. Now, back to R. Kelly.
Right.
All right.
Hi, Sharon.
All right. Hey, what's going on, Sharon? Thank you for checking in. Let's make sure the volume is down on this because they're replaying. They're replaying right now. Okay. Yeah. So it's been a 3-night episode. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Suave? Thanks for checking in. It's been a 3-night episode of this docu-series. Yeah. We've been calling it a documentary because that's what it is. It's been 3 nights of this, and they've been talking about R. Kelly and his proclivities and his desires to like younger women. However, tonight they brought a different aspect of what you could consider R. Kelly's sickness.
Older
women. Older women, which he's moved up, and the psychologist said that often a predator will then change his MO and move up and get closer to the statutory age, so that there won't be any statutory, so you go to the next age, which is the age that is legal to be with, and then thus and so. And also I want to tell the people on Instagram real quick, turn your phones to the side because we're not doing the vertical, we're doing the widescreen. So turn them to the side, and you have any comments, we're gonna go on there and check them out and do what we do. We want to say what's going on to the people that's coming in on the Instagram. Also, glad to see you there. So we're gonna get to this talk on R. Kelly, but it was one thing that I really noticed because I took some notes, and I really want to start with this first, where they talk about how they say that the 14-year-olds, the 17 down to 14-year-olds couldn't be held culpable for what they did because the development of the teenage mind isn't there, and they have snap judgments about what they do, and thus they can't be held accountable for going off and doing what they did with R. Kelly. That's one thing. Then they turn around and tell you that the people who are age, the 21-year-olds, the 21-year-olds to 35, 37-year-olds, they're calling them girls. Now, the last time I knew, women don't want to be called girls because that's supposed to be a male chauvinistic thing where men are calling women girls, but yet they're saying that the women who are of age are girls. And so coming from that perspective and me looking at it that way, what do you think about that?
I mean,
about them calling them girls. First, you're too young to be culpable,
and
now you're of age and you're
the
girls.
Women that were in their 30s.
Yes,
girls.
they did. They did. Yes, when they sat up there, they said 21-year-olds because tonight they dealt with people who were 17 to 37. Right. And they called, the psychologist called them girls.
Well, you know what? I was just shocked to see like the 33-year-old woman, right? And well, eventually after 2 years, which made her 35, she was fed up and she left. But I mean, and to see the families, and I mean, it's just like I said before, it's just a combination of everything. You know, R. Kelly, the parents, just like bad decisions all around the board. You know, because I don't know, to have the one girl whose parents sent her sister, I guess, as a chaperone. And her sister wasn't that much older than her.
No, not really.
So, I mean, so I'm thinking, well, why didn't one of the parents go? And then they said that R. Kelly promised during the tour that the label would have a chaperone. So it's just a lot of
that was the Savages, right?
I'm not.
I believe
so many of them.
No, those were the. It was so many. The Clary family,
right.
I believe.
So
I
mean,
it's
it's just it was a lot of a lot of decisions that were made were like not the best. And R. Kelly is clearly needs help, like mentally. But really, like, that's not an excuse. It's like from episode to episode, it like gets worse. You know, he's abusive, and I mean, just not only sexually abusive, but physically abusive. And then you have like the parents mixed in. Like, it was a perfect storm for R. Kelly because you had these young girls who worshipped him, parents who were also like mesmerized by his celebrity as well as his wealth, and who was willing to do things that they probably wouldn't have done with an ordinary person. Like, so they were quick to send their kids off to R. Kelly.
Yeah, they were. So let's break the synopsis down of what this is. This whole 3-night. Okay. The first night lays out the story of R. Kelly, how he the name of the title of the docu-series is called Surviving R. Kelly. So I really didn't understand the title of it because I said he's not like an axe murderer, and it wasn't like they were running from him. So the first night sets up R. Kelly, and they show him his childhood, how he came up, and they show how he was abused.
Right.
But then they come back and tell you that, then they start to show you how his abuse led to him becoming an abuser. The second night goes in and it starts to show you how he has begun to escalate, and starts to turn it into more of a type of bondage type of thing. And by the third episode, you can call the third episode the cult, is what I would call it, is how he turned it into something more like a sex cult where they are starved. And so it's been a gradual progression, and this is what this whole thing was, surviving R. Kelly. So from 14-year-olds to 17-year-olds to then going into people who are adult, and that's what he did. You know, by what they're saying in the story. Now, my question is, and people feel free to chime in and we'll respond to your responses, but you know what was said about R. Kelly. You know that he has been said to do these things. And you take your daughter
to a concert and let R. Kelly pull her up on stage. And we all know that R. Kelly's performances are like very like sexual and suggestive. So you allow your daughter to go on stage and he's singing like love songs and ballads.
And sex songs. Because like R. Kelly's songs are more sex songs.
Right.
So you take him up on stage.
Right.
I mean, you let her go up on stage, and then you say that you're a little leery about it because it took a while for her to come. Now, this whole thing about people not being culpable about their age, the young girl said she started giving threats.
Oh,
right. Saying, I guess the threats were that she would go away with him anyway. Right. So you might as well let me go on ahead and do this. Her name is what is it? Azriel? Yeah. I think that's what Azriel. It was a real show. Yeah, Azriel. And so they're saying that they didn't know that she had these emotional problems, basically, and she said that she was going to possibly run away with him. They alluded to it, but they didn't really tell you, right?
Right.
So you're sitting there and you're like, wait a minute, she's 17 though, but the psychologists are saying that she's not culpable for her thoughts because she's got to turn that next year 18, right? And then she'll be then you can hold her accountable for what she's saying. But she's telling you that I'm going to go off and do this anyway. She ends up sneaking off and going to the hotel.
Right.
You know, they see the tour bus.
Right.
They see that at first the people at the hotel say that no, you're not there.
Right.
But then they say, well, her car is out there, so we know she's here. Right. So then she comes down and says that y'all are getting ready to ruin my shot and this and everything and this and this and this and this and this. And come to find out later in the documentary, she had sex with him. Right. And then she comes down to the stairs and they really didn't know their daughter. Right. And the father said that it made him feel less than a man. Okay, now this is Florida, and you know, I would hate to say it, but people can be naive, I guess. But these are grown people. And they have a 17-year-old daughter. Go ahead.
I mean, that's being nice saying naive, but you know, to me it's just like grieving. I'll keep saying it over and over again. If this was just the average guy on, you know, who didn't have a celebrity or the riches, the parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles would have been more
protected.
Yeah. So
now they decide to go into this agreement, and I guess they got it on paper, you know. But a person once told me, well, I won't say that, but they got it on paper. They say, you know, we didn't see the paper. They should have pulled up the receipt and showed the receipt that they had the paperwork. They said that he was going to do this. He was going to get a chaperone from her from the record label. And I was like, from the record label?
You're trusting your daughter with this man.
Okay, so they didn't hear from her for a while. So then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they sent the older sister. The older sister is named Isis. Right. It's funny spelling of Isis. It's like ISIS, but Isis, still the same. Okay, so she's there, and all of a sudden, something happens, and she's got to go get something to eat. Now,
well, you know, he
ISIS.
starts, you know,
wait a minute now. ISIS was wait a minute now. ISIS was the older sister, and ISIS. Let me take a little drink of water for a minute before I say this. ISIS, I could say, was not the slimmest that could be, and for her to say that she had to, I would have left that out, because for her to say she had to go get something to eat.
Well, you know what, the one though,
and that's what made it go haywire. And when she came back, they were gone supposedly. And then next thing you know, she comes out because she must have been doing something with him, right? So they're yanking back and forth, and then they grab her, they throw her out there on the Chicago street. Then when she calls the parents come, right? And then next thing you know, she doesn't tell the truth. You're sending your young 17-year-old daughter, never really said how old the older sister was, but you're sending her with a girl with an older sister that is suffering from low self
I told you it's because of his celebrity.
No, that's low self-esteem because the first thing I would have bust, I would say, yo, this is what happened. They threw me out there on the Chicago streets. I didn't know where I was.
She withheld that from the parents. And
And then later in the documentary, you find as they pulling back the onion, the pieces of the onion, you find out that she had went through every room looking for her, and she found girls in there with buckets to take a piss with.
That right there should have been enough to okay, I have to let my parents know we have to get her out of this mess. I mean, clearly everyone knew about R. Kelly, and for her to actually see that, Raquel, she says, I'm totally disgusted and upset. Anyone who supports this pedophile, it's going on to many. It's been going on for too many years. I pray for the girls and their family. Humble understanding too. I'm a survivor of a pedophile. 2 uncles. Still PTSD. Open your eyes, people. Watch your daughters. Love them. Exactly. We have to protect our children, our daughters, our sons. I mean, people need to have to get over this celebrity crap. And like I said the other day, it's like bigger than R. Kelly. R. Kelly is clearly a monster, right? But then, see, I hate to throw out other celebrity names, but if not, okay, so let's say, like with Bill Cosby, right? And if R. Kelly is arrested and he's in jail, right? Okay, so who is the next? Who's able to take advantage of our children next? Is it gonna be like a athlete, an artist? Hell, the dentist or the doctor next door, or the postal worker, or I mean just anybody. Like, but when we're talking about with people with power, we have to stop. Not everybody's like that, but it's just like people are so glamorized with like the wealth and the celebrity, and they're willing to like push their children off on strangers, and these people are actually strangers just because we listen to their music and we watch them in films on TV, or we watch the sports, or we supposed to trust like the doctors, or even in school, you know, we see this every year, teachers sleeping with students. So, and just because they're supposed to be leaders in the community or in the celebrity world, we just put too much trust into these people and just throw our children to the wolves.
What's going on, Nikki Rich?
Hey, Nikki.
Thanks for chiming in. What's going on to Tanya Congress on Instagram? We are going live on both Instagram and Facebook Live. What's going on to Tanya Congress? She said that was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, it's real stupid, but she was suffering from low self-esteem, and then she had to go get something to eat, and then when her parents came flying in, she didn't say, he's got girls all up in these different rooms.
Because of the celebrity.
You know, I mean, no, it's not.
No, she didn't want to miss the opportunity. I believe that she felt that if she told her parents what she saw, her parents would pull her and her sister out and make them go back home, and they would lose the opportunity to work with R. Kelly and whatever else comes with it, the success in the music industry or whatever. I mean, people sacrifice a lot, you know. I mean, just she should, you know. And the sister was old enough to know
better,
right?
But so, it's like sometimes all good. My mom always. We talked about this on the last one. My mom always said all opportunities aren't good opportunities, and you have to value yourself. She said, I'm going to get you up from under the feet of people. You're not ever going to be under the feet of people, because I'm going to raise you up and not drag you up. I'm mad at that. But I'm going to raise you up, and by the time you get there, your boots are going to be laced, and then from there you can make your own decisions. But my responsibility as a parent is to get you up, and that's all they were supposed to do. She was 1 year away.
They're supposed to protect her. They did a poor job doing it. Hey, Nikki says that was weird from the sister. She was old enough. Exactly.
Right. And then, you know, so she was 1 year away from being 18 years old.
Exactly.
Finish school,
that's what I
do what you do. What happened?
Nikki says, that's crazy to me. This is about money. This is modern day sex trafficking, period. Exactly.
Okay, so R. Kelly gets on about that time. He gets on to his Instagram or something, Instagram Live, and he says that people have been giving him a lot of slack. Now, you know, for a person that can write such beautiful lyrics and be able to deliver so well on record, when it's time for him to articulate, I mean, it's not there. He said they're giving him a lot of slack. Slack is not what they're giving him. They would have been giving him a little flack. I mean, they would have given him a lot of flack, not slack, because they've given him slack. They've given him more rope to hang himself. And I think the Chicago PD, what they're doing is they're giving him a lot of rope, a lot of slack to hang themselves, hang himself. I noticed when the family went to look for their daughter, the Clarys, they went to look for their daughter, and the Chicago PD. Now, anytime else, the Chicago PD or any other police department, I'm not trying to, you know.
Well, like you said, because of the cameras, maybe that's why.
They probably, but they bust up in places. Police do what they want, but this time they need a warrant.
They probably want R. Kelly suing them.
Yeah, but if the girls up there, all they wanted
they should have waited till the
daughter.
Cameras were off. They should have whispered to the parents, you know, turn off the cameras. We'll get in there.
But you know they don't care.
Oh, okay.
They don't care. And we're gonna get on this thing about them constantly. This was a theme that they were pushing through about people don't care because it's just black girls. We're gonna get on that for a minute in a second. Let me see what the people on Instagram Live says. Nothing was ever going to happen. Mom wasn't having it. That's true. That's true. Let's see. 35. Everything music and nothing else. Okay. Then you have the mother, who did not know that her daughter was being lured into the sex.
She didn't know.
The sex dungeon.
But she went and got her.
Yeah, she went and got her, but she didn't know, and she said that it would be, she's there for music and nothing else, right? Yeah. But my thing is, you wouldn't be there for music or anything else because this guy has been proven throughout the time to be nothing. You know, as far his music, excellent. His attitude towards women, by what they're telling in this story, has been horrible. It has been nothing. He
is cruel. He's a cruel person. I mean, just say it.
Then there was Faith Rogers. 19 years old, she meets up with R. Kelly. He was so nice. They were just friends. They talked on the phone. They did all this, and you know. And then, next time they get together, next thing you know, they're together. Now she's 19. Now I have a question for the ladies. Let me take a drink. I'm gonna take a drink of my water. You're 19 years old. You've heard about R. Kelly. She said she heard about it.
Right.
She decides to go, and now this is an older man. This person is old enough to be her father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At this point, he's probably in his 40s.
Right.
So the way people
I agree with you, Nikki. Yeah, I still blame the parents too.
Listen, the way people have children, he could be old enough to be the grandfather.
Yeah.
At this point, right? So she goes there and she meets with them again, and then they have sex. Right. You know.
She said she was willing, right?
I mean, she said she was willing by coercion to have sex. That's what she said. Right. My thing is, ladies, and you can answer this question, and then we'll read your responses. Why would you, as a 19-year-old, go with meet with somebody and then fly back and meet with them again, and then get into a situation? He's flown you in. He put you in a hotel room. Right. That looks like that over there. That looks like that, or a jump off. Right. Mm-hmm. You're there to fly in. He knocks on the hotel room. Right. You go in, and you have sexual intercourse with the guy. Why would you do that And aren't you culpable at that point? You're 19 years old. Aren't you culpable at that time? Can't you be held accountable, or are you still too young because the guy is in his 40s at this point?
Well, she did say she backed away from it.
No, she backed away from it after she saw the girl that was on TMZ. Right.
But I mean, she wasn't one of the ones that stuck around for years.
No, she didn't stick around for years.
Right.
But she was there, and she saw Jocelyn. Right? And because she saw her on the thing. So Jocelyn or Jocelyn.
And then he gave her herpes, so that was enough.
Yeah, he gave her herpes.
Yeah.
Now, you have a perfectly good life.
Right.
And they've been telling people for years to strap up.
Right.
To wear prophylactics and condoms. Yeah. And people just choose not to do it. Not to mention that all the other diseases that are going around.
Right.
Besides herpes. There's the big one, HIV, AIDS, and you're a young person of 19 years old and you put your life on the line, right? Yeah. And now for the rest of your life, you've got to have flare-ups, you've got to do all this. I mean, it's just...
Well, they like to say they slept with R. Kelly. You know, what magazine was that? And they had the groupie tales.
Oh yeah, that was used to be Ozone magazine.
Yeah, and these girls were proud. And
they talked about.
They would deliver the magazine. We'll have it up at the store, and every every issue, it was like a different groupie tale, and these girls wore like a badge of honor.
Badge of honor. Listen, before we go any further, you are watching the film review. We are the husband and wife team that review culture and movies and music, politics and society. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And we are talking about surviving R. Kelly.
I'm glad it's over.
I'm glad it's over too, because we
survived it.
We survived watching Surviving R. Kelly, because let me tell you something. They gradually built this. It was a well put together documentary. The editing, the after effects work on it, going through his sunglasses. The use of finding images of R. Kelly that made him look menacing when they would do what they did.
I know. Nikki says, I feel like I have PTSD when watching this. I'm glad it's over. Like now, I can't even listen to like any of his music for real.
You know what? It's funny because just this morning I was looking for what I had referenced last evening about him being at the junior high school singing. The song is called "In the Kitchen." Yeah, in the kitchen. On the clothes. All you got is a T-shirt on. Come to find out, those are some of the lyrics. But anyway, so I was sitting there, and they scrubbed the internet of that. I can tell you, they scrubbed it. It's no longer there, but they do have his live performances. So I sat up there and was watching the live performance of him singing that song, the long version, and you know, the guy has talent, and it is undeniable. And like I said before, I believe that even with this one, this particular 2 hours of the docu-series, the documentary, was strong, but I believe that this will only make him bigger. He will be able to perform more. The people who are in love with him will continue to be in love with him, and they will continue, and it will continue on until whatever. And we're gonna get close to the end, and we'll have another prediction about how it could end. But he's gonna get bigger. He's gonna be able to buy his catalog back, and he's gonna be all right. All right. So now they introduced a new element to R. Kelly's, in my opinion now, debauchery. Oh. Okay? At this point. They introduced a new quirk that he had, where he goes for older women as well. Older women who he believes look younger. Right? So we're introduced then to Kitty Jones. Right. Kitty Jones was a 33-year-old woman who had worked herself up through the ranks. She had a radio program
in Houston.
Right, a radio program, and she had a son. Now, what magazine was that?
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
Yeah, she did an
interview with them.
And then I was shocked from that Rolling Stone article. I'm like, okay, not only was she older, she's 33. You would think, okay, she knows better. Everybody knows about R. Kelly, but she had a child she left behind.
A child.
To move in with R. Kelly.
But what was the headline on there? She had a job. She had a car.
Oh yeah.
She had a child.
Yeah,
that's how they do it. So, and within that order, I guess the most important thing was first the job, then the car, and most definitely then the child, because she was boo-hooing on the special talking about she was gonna have to go home, and if he picked her, she was going to go back. But you know what? What I noticed is, I don't think that any of the ladies are held against their will, because I've noticed that when they want to get up and leave, he doesn't hold them, right? And he's had, and from the other two installments of the docu-series, women have come and gone freely. They even alluded in this one, they didn't allude to it, they just straight out said it, that Sparkle's niece is still there.
Yes. I was surprised.
So I have a question about Sparkle. God. I have a question about Sparkle, people, and answer this question. Knowing what you know about what the documentary says about her family and how they didn't do it, and how the brother-in-law was still playing on some of R. Kelly's biggest records during that period. Right. Do you think that she should have took that large on the higher end 6-figure payout? Do you think she should have took that?
Oh yeah, Nikki says, I didn't know Sparkle's niece was still there.
That's what they said. She said she's still there.
That is crazy.
I mean, that's crazy. And so what it is
who was the one that said they saw her? She said, I saw her on a videotape. Was it Kitty?
Yeah, Kitty. And then she saw her.
Yeah, the radio DJ.
Yeah, the radio DJ said she saw her, and then she realized that it was her.
Yep.
And she said, oh my God, right?
Right.
So, listen. Kitty goes back home, and then her friend says, have you seen the sex tape? Now, I thought that she would have been old enough to see the sex tape. But, obviously, I guess she wasn't.
I'm sure she heard about it, but like I said, it was R. Kelly.
So she Googled it. And she went on and she saw it, and she started crying, oh my God, oh my God. Right. And she called him. He said, well, you get back here because I'm going to beat your ass. That's what she said he was going to say. So she went back to get the ass whipping. Let me tell you, we're going to get a little raw tonight. So the language is, because this is a raw subject, so the language is going to get a little raw, so viewer discretion is advised. But he basically said he was going to beat her ass when she got back. And they're sitting in the car, and she's taking the ass whipping and crying and saying, now, wait a minute now. She's 33 years old, but in the midst of this, they go to the psychologist, and they say the girls, they're girls. A 33-year-old is a girl, and when they're 14 years old, they're not accountable. When is the woman accountable?
Who is this? Ari Hennessy says, y'all, in my head, laughing my ass off. She went back for an ass whooping. Yeah,
she went back for an ass whooping, and then he was like smacking her up, and she was like, I'm gonna do better, baby. I said, damn, this seems like something. Oh, this is one thing. The father, the Clary father, says he referenced Superfly. Yeah. Superfly with Ron O'Neal.
Yeah, he's a drug dealer,
Superfly
right?
was not a pimp. He was a drug dealer trying to get out the game and ride off into the sunset.
What did they show? Was that a picture of Don Juan? I couldn't.
No, yeah, they showed Don Juan. They showed Don Juan, right? But we had already said that it seemed like what R. Kelly is doing
yesterday
is that he looked like to me as if he's a pimp.
Yeah.
And then so we were sitting up and discussing that, and we were talking about how. We were just in the car, and we were talking about how he could have taking it out because one of the most world famous pimps ever.
Right.
Because I had a discussion with a young lady on Facebook, and she was talking about, you know, how Hugh Hefner, he was 86 years old and was, you know, still bopping women, right, up until he died. And I said, yeah, but the difference between Hugh Hefner and R. Kelly is Hugh Hefner kept his word because he had a magazine that was about nudes, and so thus and so he had a mansion which was a brothel, and so he kept his word to the women and done that. So I said, R. Kelly, if this is what R. Kelly wanted to do, he could have gone on and done the same thing and made it more of a Motown thing where the women were who would sing, he would train them up to sing, artists. They would have a magazine where it would be, he could have him a legal brothel, like what he's doing, like what he's ultimately doing, but he's doing it now illegally, it would appear, by how they're setting it up. But they wouldn't have had anything to say because he would have had it structured and it would have been legal, and the Playboy was in Chicago.
Oh, that's nice.
And why he would have been in Chicago.
She sounded like, girl, she's y'all asleep.
Oh, thank you.
R. Kelly was all about, he wasn't even about like doing structuring anything like that, and he wasn't legitimately trying to help these girls. He was just, I don't know, he was a God complex, and all he wanted to do was beat them and abuse them and demean them.
Tanya Congress says that he went after simple-minded women.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, we're on Instagram and on Facebook Live at the same time. She also said he meant Goldie. Goldie, the Mac.
Oh, the Mac.
Yeah, the Mac. Yeah. Now, see, have you ever watched the Mac, people? Yeah. There's a scene where Goldie, which is Julian, I can't think of Julian's last name. God, I can't believe that. But anyway, he wrote the whole movie. But anyway, the person that he was riding with was an actual pimp, because they use actual pimps in it, and you know, so he's driving through. Julian, oh my God,
he's from Ohio.
Yeah, he's from Ohio. I can't think of anyone. So well, yeah, maybe. So the Superfly. Ron O'Neal is from Ohio. Yeah. So Julian Bond's character is rolling through Goldie Mac, and it's a woman who he's turned into a hooker. That they were friends, right? And he's talking about, well, I really should have gotten into another girl's ass or whatever. He was telling her, yeah, you should get in their ass. That's what he said. And so that was an ad lib. So when they pull up on the girl, she comes in, the white John he stole from me. He said, Max Julian. He said, I don't give a fuck about what you talking about. What you gonna do is get back out there and get me my money. You hear what I'm saying? And see, her as the actress. See, I break down the movies as the actress. The actress had to sell it. The look on her face when Max Julian's character and him playing Goldie the Mac, when he says that, her pullback and shock is everything that's in it, that they used to be friends. Everything is on her face. Acting is about what's on the face. Everything is on her face. With Fran and shocked that he doesn't care about what just happened to her with the white John. Go back out there and get my money. And she pulls back, and in the end of the film, I don't want to spoil it, but she is instrumental in the double cross. Everybody should have seen the Mac. And if not, it's still a good movie to see, so I'm going to give a spoiler on that. She's instrumental in the double cross that happens to him and informing on the people who are villains against him, right? And so this is what I predict. I'm predicting with R. Kelly. I don't think that this documentary is going to get him. I don't think that the Me Too people are going to get him. I don't think that the police. I think the police will, because in the Mac, that's who the villains were against him, right? But I don't think that they will get him as far as that. I don't think the legal court system. I think it's going to go too far, and it's going to be one of the scorned women in the house, one of the ones that's traveling back and forth. back and forth.
Because what did the one lady say? She said, Kitty, she said that she knew that either she was
thinking about
killing either herself or him.
Right. And so that's what he has to look out for as far as what he's doing. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's already written. Yeah. So it's in the Bible. These things are in the Bible. Scorned women and what they do to you. And it's in film. It's in every film. And being in R. Kelly, by what they're describing, they're describing a pimp-ish mentality, a pimpish mind, a pimp who is starving. I mean, that's almost to the point of what would be guerrilla pimping, where you're starving them out, you're getting them to beating them, and then still give me a kiss and still come do this. Okay, so the mom, the family, the Clarys go to look for their daughter at what the father said it might as well be a jail. But the mom was wearing flip-flops. Like, if you're ready to get down, I don't know, tell me, can you get down with some flip-flops on? I mean, can people get down with flip-flops? We just saw that and observed
that, and I'm like,
I mean, like, okay, if you really ready to get down, you
have on your tennis shoes.
You have some tennis shoes, you're going to have it pulled back.
T-shirt, and be ready to...
And even the mom that went to go see her daughter in the hotel, she didn't have on jeans. She had on some kind of sarong thing going on. And, I mean, no aspersion to her, but it was like she was going for a vacation in LA and she was dressed with this sarong on, and I don't know if she was trying to be seen.
No, I mean, I think she was fixed up for the camera.
Yeah.
But it's just that, you're thinking, okay, so you getting ready to go to war and get your kid. You're going to be dressed down, ready to, for whatever's going to go down, and wouldn't include like flip-flops and all that kind of stuff. But,
I mean, the Kitty woman, back to the Kitty woman who was the DJ, had her own radio show. She was 33. She was not 13. She was not 14. Yeah. She wasn't 21. Right? She goes, and then next thing you know, she's in with Menage a Trois. She said 1, 2, 3 girls. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the strangest thing, and that's when she finds out that Sparkle's niece is still there because she gets involved. These people are admitting that they are doing illegal sex acts with these people.
Well, that's because of his celebrity, and then like Nikki was saying, because of his money. So
she left her kid.
I mean, I know.
And she wouldn't have got on the train, plane, or automobile if he had picked up the phone. She did not care about her child.
Yeah, because they did say in order to live there, right? They've been saying it from like the first episode. R. Kelly make sure that the girls aren't in contact with any family, period. So, hey, Kayla. So I'm thinking, when I found out she had a child, I said, wow, she was willing to cut ties, no communication with her child, just to be with R. Kelly? Are you kidding me? And she's 33. She stayed to 35. So that's like 2 years out of your child's life.
Let's go over it again. She had an ex-husband. She had a car. She had a job. And she had a child. And she was crying not because not because of what R. Kelly actually did, but because she had to go back home and be in.
Oh yeah, she did say that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised she had a kid. When we read that article in Rolling Stone magazine, the interview she did, because in the documentary they didn't mention the kid, and I said, oh yeah, because that would have really made her look bad had she mentioned the kid in the documentary. Okay. I mean.
So the mom goes to the hotel room and she sees the daughter, and they're playing the audio, and they're putting up the subtitles so you can read what the mom is saying. Yeah. And she says, I came this far. Don't do this. Like, why are you worried about being embarrassed? If the girl doesn't want to go with you, Why would you? That to me, my opinion, showed a little self-centeredness. Are you there for the daughter, or are you there for the cameras? Right? So I mean, this whole thing is just one big mess, just one big pile of shit. It's a shit storm, and he is like. Then the girl from the... See, I have to jump around because this is just crazy. The kitty chick goes out and she's the cage girl on the single ladies tour. I mean, she gave up... She had an ex-husband. Right. She had a car. She had a job. And she left her kid for... That's 2 years. Because when she walked out, she walked out at 35. Yeah. Okay, now what about the 35-year-old? Right. It was 35... He met her. Oh yeah,
I forgot about her. Yeah.
He met her, and then that's the.
So the age is going up.
The age is going up. See, I'm starting to think now.
That's because his popularity was kind of waning.
No. I think no, because
that love letters. Because you remember when he got with Kitty, which was 33. It was at the after party for the love letters.
Right. But the family,
which was an older album.
But the families keep bringing their kids. They keep bringing their kids. Right. They keep bringing their young daughters to the concert. Oh, you got to hear what I used to like.
It's like they're dangling their children in front of R. Kelly
to try to get attention.
That's how I felt about the was it the Clearys?
Yeah.
Who took her? Because I'm like, why would you take your daughter to R. Kelly concert? I mean, it was a huge gap in. Like, I could see if they were like, okay, we're gonna take her to see. Who's in her age group? Like maybe what's his name, Tracey Songz or like a Rihanna, Chris Brown or whatever.
Right.
But R. Kelly was so much older. In the end, come on now, the parents knew R. Kelly's reputation, so they take her to this concert and she goes up on stage, right? And I mean, it was just crazy.
R. Kelly is like catnip. It looks like R. Kelly is like catnip to young girls. I don't know what the deal is, but. She was a cage girl, and she gave it all up. You know what I mean? She had a car.
A career.
She had a career. She had a child. For 2 years, she left. But anyway, the other girl who was the woman who was 35. Now, these are women fully seasoned in the game, should be. Right. Been in many relationships. She said she had been in an abusive relationship. She was divorced. Right. She gets with R. Kelly. She's dating, and now their boy. I noticed how each one of the ladies said that was their boyfriend.
Yeah,
really, it's really strange that you would say that R. Kelly is your boyfriend.
Well, he probably really told them that he was the boyfriend, and he told Kitty said R. Kelly told her that he loved her.
I mean, what is the name? I can't think of. I don't know if I wrote down the name because we're moving through this, but the young lady. The woman, 35-year-old. Oh, Ashanti. That's her name. I got it written down on my bullet points here. Ashanti. I don't know her last name, but we just go Ashanti. She says that she had a house in Atlanta, had a great job. She flies out to Chicago, and then they fly back to Atlanta. He says, "Come on. You're gonna go with me," and then they fly back to Atlanta, and then he puts them into another mansion, into a house, and then she goes and starts telling a story about how it was basically Sodom and Gomorrah inside this one room that was painted all black. The furniture was black, the carpet was black, the drapes were black, and black is not a negative color. But she was making it seem like it was negative. Everything was black, and so she said, "Let me out of here," because she almost had a panic attack. I thought she was gonna have palpitations, so it's gonna fall out
PTSD,
down the steps.
Like Nikki was saying, and then Kayla's saying they're all on BS.
Why would you go through and actually do that? They
go through the house again. She said BS. You mean the walkthrough?
Yeah.
Oh, for the cameras and
So you're sitting there and you're watching this, and she said she go through, and she said that she stood there for hours tapping her foot to try to get R. Kelly so she could get something to eat or come downstairs. Who does that? And then she had a breaking point. If the breaking point wasn't standing there for an hour bamming on the floor, bamming, you're tapping your toe on the floor. You're tapping your boot. She had some heels on. You notice how they dressed up to come to do this? Maybe she should have been barefoot like what she was and really showed it. It would have been like an African drum going and a chain and a shackle on her foot, and she was just bamming on the floor. But she had on these heels, and she's stood there for an hour. Because she's 37 when she walks out that.
It was R. Kelly. She would not have done that for.
She's 37.
For Tyrone.
People on Instagram, she's 37.
Met them all.
People on Facebook Live, she's 37.
So,
not 15, not 16, not 17, not 25, not 27, 37. You are seasoned in the game. You had your own house. You had your own career. And then you go up into this sex.
She was thinking about R. Kelly's wealth. She was thinking she was going to be the wife and have his whole music catalog in the end. And so she was just greed. But then he don't even have his catalog anymore, huh?
Okay.
So he sold his rights to everything.
Well, everything is falling down, but I'm telling you, this is going to make him big and it's going to all come back. Okay, so Alice and Angelo. R. Kelly says that I'm going to work with them. I'm going to work with her on the road, and I need to take her on the road with me, and la-di-da, dee-dee-da, dee-dee-da. They let her drop out of school?
Oh, yeah, they did let her drop out of school.
Talking about she was going to have a tutor?
Right. Kayla said they do too much for TV time. I know exactly, because most of them should have been ashamed to go on television saying that. Nothing to be proud of. I mean, man, that's like some of them, to me, just my opinion, like selling out your child. And between R. Kelly's employees, and I'm talking about overall the entire docu-series from day one up until today, the employees who turned a blind eye, for the money, the young people's parents turned a blind eye, as well as in some instances grandmothers and aunts and uncles who turned a blind eye, and then up until tonight's episode, women who are over the age of 30. So it's just so disappointing.
Who had careers that gave it up to be with R. Kelly. R. Kelly has to have some pretty good cologne. Everybody needs to know what type of cologne R. Kelly is wearing, because
the scent is called Cash.
Oh, it's called Cash? It's called Dirty Money. Yeah. It's called cocaine.
So hopefully, moving forward, that should be the end of it, and these young girls should have no more interest in R. Kelly, and these parents will not just send their children off on tour with R. Kelly, and hopefully this will be the end of it. But sadly, we know it won't be, because people worship the dollar too much. So no value.
Tanya Congress says that they were probably doing illegal sex acts before they got with R. Kelly.
Possibly, because
that's a perspective.
Yeah.
Listen.
Possibly.
So the politics of this for a second before we get back into the story. They've been hitting you with a steady R. Kelly. Right. They show you these images where they even give you the big head, where he's sitting there and he's got this funny look on his face, or he's unshaven, got them funny sunglasses on, right, or he's standing there with the suit on, and so they show you all these different images. Yeah. It's coming out of darkness, right? And so making him intimidating, making him menacing, and then they show you a commercial. They come right off of showing you that a black man is so this is all psychology. You got to understand what they're trying to do. They're not only just saying that R. Kelly is this, but as they talking about they got the psychologists talking, and they saying that predators do this, right? And they're equating R. Kelly. So when you see R. Kelly is what? A black man. And what are they saying? Predators. So then they're saying R. Kelly, he's a black man. predators, black men are predators, right? So they're giving you a heavy dose of that. You have to let that fly out your mind and not let that psychosis go into your mind, right? Because that's why they feel that they can gun black males down the street, and they think black women are are loud and sapphire, and thus they can get slammed on the sidewalk, or they can be like Sandra Bland. But then
he does not represent black men. He represents himself.
I'm right. Just like when anybody does anything, like when Trump does what he does, they don't say he represents all white men, but I would say, coming from my perspective, that he does. However, they show you this heavy, strong indoctrination in your head that the black man is a predator. The black man is a predator. Then they show you a commercial for Hello. Did you see the Hello commercial? Did you see her? She was a little heavy set. She was about maybe a 16, 18. And she's sitting there and she's cooking food. And she's got her white man there. And she sits down at the table and the white man kisses her and feeds her. And she sits up there and she smiles.
So you're saying that they're villainizing the black man and
pushing that you will do better
with the white man
if you do better. Something new.
Please.
Right? So you have to watch this, and then when you realize what's happening, and then you hear the true stories about what's happening when people are in those particular types of relationships and how they're getting ghetto gagged and smutted out and all kinds of things, then you realize what's really going on. Real black men matter. Oh, look at thanks, Kayla. Real black men matter. That should be a t-shirt. Real black men matter. Yes, sir. So we had to say that. So in between R. Kelly saying they're giving me a lot of slack instead of flack, and I don't know how he can game them so well with the lack of utilization of correct words within the English language. The syntax is a little off. I don't know how he does it, but he just does it. He was remember, wait a minute. The mixtapes came out. Remember when Best of Both Worlds was out? And they went to Madison Square Garden, Jay-Z's backyard, New York City. New York City. They're in New York City. Did anybody ever hear those mixtapes when he went on Angie Martinez right afterwards?
Yeah.
Listen. I'm gonna get this down. Listen.
So
let me set up the story.
Yeah,
Jay-Z what happened. So let's set up the story. So this is all during the time. All this is swirling around about what he's doing. So he said he was receiving death threats. Right. Now this just goes to show you, Jay-Z was still working with R. Kelly, even though he all this was going on, but people said, well, he's they trying to entrap a black man because this must not be happening. So they were at Madison Square Garden, and R. Kelly said he had been getting death threats. So he said he saw some dudes on the audience pointing at him, right, and mean mugging him. So he goes, stops the concert, has New York's finest, which are antagonizers and patty rollers to the black community, taking them to Rikers Island and locking up as many as they can. He had them come in, and they came in and they searched everybody in there. Male officers searching black women in the underwire under their breasts, searched everybody through the whole thing. And Jay-Z and them wasn't having it. Yeah. The shit was over. Yeah, and then R. Kelly goes to Angie Martinez. Right. It's on this mixtape, and he's like, man, I just don't know. I was getting death threat. And so they was looking at me. They was mean mugging me, and I just had to do it. So, and then Angie Martinez, well, do you think you had any responsibility to have the NYPD coming? Well, I had to be protected, because and then that's when Jay-Z came out and said, R. Kelly writes that real nigga shit, but he really ain't a real nigga. Right. Now, once Jay-Z said that, now people should listen, right? Because we know what Jay-Z and Beyonce do, and as far as we can know, Jay-Z is the realest nigga possible and a real black man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Pushing through those lyrics, those bars on a Meek Mill song. So I mean, if you ever get a chance to hear that when he was on Action, I was getting deaf and he was doing his tongue, and I was like, man, do you have a lisp? Do you have a lisp?
And this is the same man who he's so scary, right? When it comes to other men, but he's the first one to put his hands on a woman and abuse her.
Yeah, isn't that something? Let me take a drink of water. You see that from the mouth of a woman. You see that?
So if you ever to find that interview and listen to it,
you say, I
crazy.
just don't know.
He's so scary.
I had to do it.
But first thing he'll do is slap a woman around. So, but yeah, R. Kelly is such a huge disappointment. And I don't know. I think this docu-series is going to put the nail in the coffin for him.
Yeah. My Facebook Live ended for a minute, so we're going to come back because, it's only an hour. We obviously went over the hour here.
Instagram.
And we're going to be, Instagram, because Facebook Live is still going. So I'm going to bring this back up real quick. But he was like, I just don't know. I mean, if you ever get a chance to hear the Angie Martinez, go ahead.
Tamika says, R. Kelly, he does need help. He knows people want to get him because the way he is, he treats women like a dog. He does treat women like a dog. I mean, I'm so disappointed in him. I am so disappointed in R. Kelly. He's cruel. He is cruel. Starving people for days, beating them. And then Nikki has said earlier, she said it's like sex trafficking. So, which is true because the first episode when the younger girls, and he was taking them across state back and forth. So that is sex trafficking, without their parents' permission. So it's just crazy. And to know that this man has children of his own, 3, he has daughters of his own, and this is how you treat women.
This is how you treat
women. And this
women.
is the same man who made a song dedicated to his mother. He redid the song with Sadie, right?
Right.
And he act as if he held his mother in high regard, and you treat women this way. And
we're back on Instagram Live now for the second half of this. You're watching the film review, movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
And we review culture in movies, music, politics, and society. And we're talking about surviving R. Kelly.
And we all survived that docu-series.
Yeah, we survived that because, let me tell you something, that is such the big hit job. My question is, we know that R. Kelly, by this time, I have to not deny it. I have to say, from what they've shown, R. Kelly is such the monster, okay? I mean, he's a monster from what they've shown, right? My thing is, why do we as a people have to be so holier than thou, right? So we locked up Bill Cosby. No real proof of what actually happened. But we said, well, if he was doing that and he did that to those women, he should be put away, right? So we're looking at the R. Kelly.
What Bill Cosby did was lightweight compared to R. Kelly. I mean, and they locked him up.
Actually, he was drugging them and
you remember,
putting them in comatose state.
No, they talked to the women. You remember? And it was a lot of the women. They took the drugs from him. And was
willingly.
It was
consensual.
Yeah,
but R. Kelly said it's consensual.
Oh no.
He said in his "I Confess" song, you know what I'm saying? Right. That it was consensual.
Well, no, with Bill Cosby, the few women, that talked and those that wrote books talked about how they would party with Cosby, right? They would come to his hotel room or either to his home, right? And then they would do, during that period, the Quaaludes. And they said that was the norm. Because they even said they would hang out with him at the mansion, Playboy Mansion. And everybody, they said, was doing Quaaludes. And then Hugh Hefner
kicks off
before
he kicks off before he could be handled for giving quaaludes to
yeah,
all those
because they
porn.
said it was they were going to do working on a class action lawsuit also against Hugh Hefner, because a lot of the women that was at the Playboy Mansion was getting ready to go after them. So, and I think that was a lot of stress. And Hef said, "No, I see what you're doing.
I might as well check out.
Check out,
because it was already bad that Gloria Steinem during the time in the '60s when I thought that we were working together for a female liberation and thinking that was liberation. She called me a male misogynist.
That's what he called.
And that's what she called them, and then later said everybody should burn their bras. So I really don't understand the psychology of it, but let's keep moving. Now, my point in all this of bringing up the fact that, we're so holier than thou with that, and we want to let our people just go down the sinkhole. Harvey Weinstein, they referenced Harvey Weinstein in this piece. The woman, what's her name, Burke, who started the Me Too movement.
Yeah. So maybe there's a docu-series on him coming up.
That's my point. Yeah. When is the docu-series, the hit job on Harvey Weinstein? Harvey Weinstein did way worse than R. Kelly. R. Kelly talked to the people. Some of the women come in, they may have been young when they started, but they come in and out of his life. They come back in freely, they leave freely, they go back, they leave, they come back. Some have been there, like he said in the documentary, some have been with him 15 years, some have been with him 5. Harvey Weinstein, he'll be on a boat, have the woman come down, come on down to the cabin and come down. He got his cock out through the road on hard, and the women got to sit there, or he'd be in the hotel room doing the same thing, forcing himself or having the casting couch.
Right.
That's way worse. And you know what they're doing? They're dropping charges on Harvey Weinstein.
Well, you know what? I think they're equally worse, because I don't even think they need to give any leniency on Harvey Weinstein. He's a dog too. And we know R. Kelly's a dog. He is,
but Harvey Weinstein.
Deborah said, she said, I didn't see the R. Kelly story.
You guess what? Lifetime is showing it in rotation
tomorrow.
Tomorrow they're showing it. What's tomorrow?
Sunday.
They're showing it on Sunday.
They're
showing it on Sunday like it's like a Christmas story, where it's going to be in rotation and flipping over and over. Remember the Christmas Story that was shot in Cleveland, Ohio? And it's a Christmas story. They stick the tongue out on the flagpole, and it sticks. They think it's like that. They're going to show it over and over and over because they put a lot of money.
Well, R. Kelly put in that lawsuit, so they said that they're going to get their money's worth.
They're going to get their money's worth out of it too, because it's going to help R. Kelly propelled to the next level, because they're going to find out that some of the girls, because I looked at some of them and I'm like, I don't believe everything that you're saying, because your eyes are going over here or going down here.
For the body language.
Right, body language. But back to Harvey Weinstein for a minute. He was doing these things, and basically what they're saying is he was saying for exchange for sex. That's what they were alluding to in these different stories.
Right.
That for exchange of sex, he would put you.
I don't look at much TV. Well,
yeah, that's good.
You're doing the right thing.
You won't miss anything. It won't miss anything.
Because this R. Kelly story is depressing.
What happened with the sight gate and the ear gate for these last 3 days is very disturbing. I will say that for at least, but we need to have the Harvey Weinstein eye gate and ear gate disturbances, because I don't like the fact that we are so fast to throw ours to do dirt under so fast, and we always do that, and it seems like it's a process where we feel that if we do that, then we'll be the good Negro. But in turn, when they have one of theirs up, it seems like it's a slap on the wrist, and they're gonna go back to doing what he wants to do and go off and retire like Woody Allen. Woody Allen married his own daughter.
Yeah.
Daughter, not daughter by blood, by daughter by relation, by being adopted, right? Yeah. It's
and they're still putting out Woody Allen films.
And what's the other guy who went over Sharon Tate's old man?
Oh yeah.
Who was messing with the young girls, and he went off, and they were talking about a couple of years ago, giving him immunity.
Honorary, didn't they give him an Academy Award?
Yeah, they gave him an honorary Academy Award, and they were talking about that. And I mean, so it's weird, like how throughout the whole time, the Constitution, ever since the 13th Amendment, they have found a way to put black men under and black bodies under, but when it comes to white bodies doing some of the most heinous things, they find a way to give them a pass. It's just like the Trump situation. If you believe it, I will say I be done seeing about everything when I see an elephant fly. That's from Dumbo, people. Not the new one they're doing, but maybe it is in the new one. We're talking about the cartoon by Walt Disney. I be done seeing about everything when I see an elephant fly. If Trump is impeached, and then the Senate goes on and prosecutes.
They like everything he's doing.
And, if they impeach him and then they prosecute him, I will have be done seeing about everything. But I'm going to tell you that that's not going to happen. And if you think that he's not going to run again because it's about name and win it again because it's enough, 80% of his base loves what he's doing, even with the shutdown. And as you see how people can get away with it, he said he was grabbing them by the butt. He had the 12-year-old girl that he was in pictures with that they said that he did something to, and they let him go. They
still voted him in. He's the president.
But he was a businessman, and nobody went to go press any charges against him because they were paid off. Which gets to another thing. If R. Kelly or anybody, anybody, let's just take R. Kelly out of it. But it seems to me that when people like Trump and all them, they pay the people off, they go on and they keep their word, right? When R. Kelly was supposed to have paid some of these people off, from what I can understand, and they didn't keep their word. Like, non-disclosures and paying, that means that you can get handled for coming out and doing that.
Well, maybe there's a statute of limitations on when they signed off on the paperwork.
All right, Deborah.
You have a blessed night.
Thank you for chiming in. For coming in and watching with us. But so people, what I'm saying to you is, we have to start saying, as a group of people, we have to say, if you don't do it to Whitey, don't do it to Blackie.
Yeah, Kayla said he needs to get out of office. Yeah, they're gonna put Trump right back in office again. Do it to Blackie, then you do it to Whitey. That's the way that is. Because I feel like even though
that's equal justice.
We're all for all those that went out there and voted for Hillary, right?
Those who did.
No matter how many of us go out and vote for whoever's going to run against Trump, these same people who, they act as if they're not for Trump, but as soon as they pull the curtain back or go up to the machine, they're voting to put Trump in office. Because it's interesting. I feel some of these reporters on TV who act like they're so against Trump, they're some of the main ones who they enjoy what he's doing. He's entertaining for some of them. And they put him in office.
And they give him all the answers on MSNBC. Oh, this is what happened with Nixon. Oh, well, we're going to just avoid what happened to Nixon. That's all. But anyway, so, people, let me see. Let me see if we got everything. Oh, man. Again, I asked this question. I would like to get people's response on this before we close out. Your Sparkle, you believe that your niece has been violated. You see her on the tape, but her family doesn't do it. It doesn't go along with it. They say it wasn't her. They all say it wasn't her. Do you feel like a sucker that you didn't take the 6 figures to just sit down at the table and say everything is cool so that you can keep your career going? Do you feel like a sucker that you didn't take the 6 figures after you see that the family is still going, and you see that your niece, obviously, this must be some kind of sick love, octagon or something. You know, octuplet. You know what I mean? It's some kind of octagon of love going on, and she's still with him. Do you feel now that you were somewhat a sucker and you should have just mind your own business? How would you feel if that happened? If your niece, you took your niece around and then they had this illicit affair, and then now when she's grown, she's still going around
living with R. Kelly.
What would you feel? You know, would you feel that
I think she feels guilty still because she's
feels guilty for what?
Introducing her niece to R. Kelly, but from the body language, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
But from the body language, from the photos, I believe that Sparkle also had a relationship with R. Kelly. I believe she also slept with him. I mean,
you believe that?
Yeah, because
just by the body language.
Yeah,
on the photo.
From the photos, right? You know, and then hi, Mika. I feel that she slept with him also, and I know that she was upset because, you know, what he did to her niece. He slept with her niece because he was sleeping with both of them, her and her niece.
What do you mean by no? What do you mean by no, Kayla? What's that mean? Yeah. But how would you feel though? Would you feel that you should have took the 6 figures?
You know what? No, because that's dirty money, and not all money is good money. So,
but they took dirty money though.
Well, because
they were unscrupulous,
clearly,
and you're out,
clearly,
and now you're using this platform to get your next 15 minutes fame because her song played at the end of the show. So, you know, so R. Kelly, you know, they trying. A lot of people trying to give me some slack about what's going on. I just had to do it because, you know, I was getting death threats, and I just had to. Listen, I wish people would be more correct. Max Julian was the pimp. Superfly was the drug dealer trying to get out the game. We cannot mix up, you know, we can't mix up the different images and say that all of them are the same. They loved it when they edited it because they were able to mix up the images and make it seem like all black men are the same. Okay, so I think that we went through our list. Faith Rogers, herpes for the rest of her
dealing with R. Kelly.
I mean, I could not imagine that. And so a certain things strap up. And so as we close on this, as I try to wipe it out of my brain of what we just saw, and out my ear gate, out my eye gate, and I have to speak it with my mouth gate. I'm trying to say, like we said yesterday, keep your sons close, keep your daughters close. Right. You know, because you don't know what's going on out there. It's been going on since the beginning of time. Right. It's in the Bible too. Okay. And so so protect your children at all costs.
Right.
Be with them. Right. Don't rely on anyone else to protect your child because they won't protect them as well as you will.
And the way they wrapped it up is in the very end, R. Kelly is willingly and knowingly sleeping with all of these women, passing on herpes intentionally.
By what they say.
By what they're saying, because he's clearly not wearing a condom, so he just doesn't care. He doesn't care for anyone. He doesn't care for himself. It's just that's that. So
okay, so before we close, let's say again, you can hear the replays of this. You can hear it, the audio only on SoundCloud. That is soundcloud.com/thefilmreview. That's right. You can also purchase the Film Review t-shirts from off of SoundCloud. When you see the different episodes, You can go right there and it says a button that says buy the film review t-shirt. You click there, you're able to order right off of the website, and it'll come right to you quicker than you think, faster than you think. Also, you can see the replays of this because we have a green screen right now, but on the replays on YouTube, we have the magic of having the film review in the back. So you go right there to to YouTube, and you can watch the finished versions on the film review channel, which is actually my original channel, Crazy D 2007, youtube.com/Crazy D 2007. Also, you can see us on Vimeo on the donate, and because we're always kicking some kind of facts, so you can donate to us and you can have it in your digital library, the film review on the Vimeo channel, which is Live channel on Vimeo, Lordland Intellectual Vibe Electric channel on Vimeo. Is there anything else? And of course, you can check us out on Facebook, Lordland Films on Facebook, Crazy Dion on Facebook. And so this has been another great episode of the film review. Movies, music, culture, and whatever else comes to mind. We are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracey.
And we review culture and movies, music, politics, and society. And we will see you next time on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. And we are out.
Good night.